Second number is 080 7968 8704. 080 7968 8704. Do you know that since I entered the South and Southeast states, people keep telling me how they have been suffering from various types of infections? I tell you, in my village, all these infections can easily be handled by young people. Although I inherited the treatment of infections, but I still went to the famous Academy of Natural Medicine in Ibadan, Oyo State. Let me give you my number once again: 080 33 74 8487. And the second number is 080 79 68 8704. Omolabi Naturalist Care is located at number 2A School Road, Umuahia. And we have a free test, that is a free diagnosis at Omolabi Naturalist Care, number 2A School Road, Umuahia. People call me on my phone to ask me why I treat only infections and infertility. The reason is simple. I am a specialist in infection and infertility. I will be expecting you. Bye for now.
Come on, y'all, let's do this.
It's time to crank it up. We are turning it up on Rapid FM 96.5, the sound of your city.
Words are powerful tools, but actions send a message louder and clearer. If your actions don't match your words and promises, people will begin to lose trust in you. Join an hour with Comrade Chimobi Obundiogo every last Friday of the month on Rapid 96.5 FM by 10 a.m. as he discusses issues that concern Abia State and Nigeria for development. Also, it features human empowerment segments and giveaways. An hour with Comrade Chimobi Obundiogo. Well done is better than well said.
Come on, y'all, let's do this.
It's time to crank it up. We are turning it up on Rapid FM 96.5, the sound of your city.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It's a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. So this is beyond partisan politics. Nigeria is on drip. Nigeria is on oxygen. And how can we get out of this? And these are kind of people who say they are leaders of this country. What example I may show you are leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with happenings in the polity.
I am an employee of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of the family. And he must protect me.
All the resources available in this country has to come together at this time to see how best we can move forward. The interest of Nigeria is part of it.
Standpoint.
Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM.
No Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian.
That's right.
A very good morning to you and welcome to Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city, where we look at everything politics. Of course, it is Monday, the 20th day of May 2024. Once again, you're welcome. Let's take you through the happenings under the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Certainly, that will form our conversation as we look at towards a year in office governance under President Tinubu. Meanwhile, let me inform you, in case you have not been following the development, since October the 7th, 2023, as we speak, over 640,000 Palestinians have left their country, and over 79,000 have been injured, and also over 35,000 have been killed in the Gaza war as we speak. Anyway, the Iran President Raisi Ibrahim has been confirmed dead. Well, that's development in a way. Nobody knows exactly what's happening at this point, but that's at the international relation. Hi, Kugbuna, very good morning to you and welcome to Standpoint.
Good morning, Mr. Moses Ben. It's good to be here. We thank God for the rain. We thank God for another week of interactions and discussions as we dwell on very critical issues. Our business is to come here and talk. Well, it's quite unfortunate that the Iranian president died. we're talking about human life. So whether he's doing well or not, whether he's the other religion or Christian, what is important is that a life has just been lost, and everybody needs to feel bad about it. So we feel sorry for the Iranian country, the country of Iran. They have lost their president. So well, I'm sure there's going to be a way forward.
Yes, we feel our sympathy. And also, we commiserate with we are talking about human beings.
Yeah, it's human life.
And, despite the affiliation and whatever you want to take as your position outside. Yes. But first thing first, human life.
Not minding the fact that you could say Iran is they are sponsoring terrorists, they are doing this, they are doing that, in the name of Islam and what have you. But what we are saying here is that the life has been snuffed out. Our life has been snuffed out of a being. So we need to feel bad about that. Some people are already pointing accusing fingers on the side of Israel that maybe they masterminded this plane crash. Well, that's what we need to see as events unfold. But right now, we are feeling bad. The nation of Iran is mourning the death of their president, and everybody needs to commiserate with them. That's
exactly. Ibrahim Raisi came in 2021.
Yes.
And then a lot of things under him in the way if he followed through. However, it's a bad moment for the people of Iran.
Yeah, it's a very gloomy atmosphere right now.
Of course, that happened as a result of a helicopter crash. He was actually headed for a program. I had to commission something still in Iran down there.
Yeah, and the weather was hazy. Yeah. So, it's usually those unfortunate incidents that do happen. So
it's fine. It's quite sad. You're welcome to Standpoint. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Moses Ben. And if I must continue from there, it's just what you actually tell us how life is. That is empty. Yeah, life is empty. We avoid the road accident. You avoid the one that will happen on water. That should be last 2 months or last month. We talked about people, drowning and boats getting capsized. Also, a few months ago, who else, and now this one. That means wherever you are, you're not safe.
Yes.
That is it.
And also, you look at the activities on Earth here. What you are doing on Earth, your activities, your attribution.
It's very empty.
Everything that happens around you.
Up there, the people that die mostly, they are the ones that have money. The money that we don't have. I've not been in a helicopter before. I've not been in a plane before. But look at the ones. Kobe Bryant, a few years ago. He's rich, helicopter, private jets, alongside his daughter. Today we are still talking about that. I think you can call him a billionaire. We're still mourning him now, a president of a country. And this is just to tell you that life is obviously nothing.
No, life is ephemeral.
It's just nothing there. And it is what it is. Dear soul, rest in peace. That's the prayer we pray for those that have lost their lives. But we that are still alive will continue and we'll keep talking so that things will get better in Nigeria and the world at large. Good to be here.
All right, it's interesting, gentlemen, but let's face the business of the day. Talking about CBN has withdrawn the cybersecurity levy circular after federal government suspension. That's that Ike. I don't know, Nigerians agitated, but we'll come down to that later on. This morning, we are being joined on Standpoint to look at the issue towards a year in office. Governance under President Tinubu, of course, the State Publicity Secretary, All Progressives Congress, Anambra State, Okelu Madukeife. Very good morning to you, sir, and thank you for joining Standpoint.
Good morning, Ben. Good morning, listeners.
How have you been?
I'm good, and I trust you are fine in Aba.
No, Umaya, precisely, Abia State.
Sorry, Umaya. Okay.
All right, good to have you join the program. 9 days from now, President Bola Tinubu will mark his first year in office. Many people would tell you that 1 year is not enough to make a judgment. Many have also argued that 1 year is also enough time for the president to lay a proper foundation for his administration, to settle fully into the job, and to figure out where he needs to make urgent course correction to ensure that he maximizes the time left. As we approach that first anniversary, sir, it is only natural that the entire nation will be looking back and reflecting on the journey so far. However, from where we are standing at the moment, 1 year after President Tinubu was inaugurated, those who voted for him and those who opposed his choice as president. What can you say are the realities around them under the administration of President Tinubu? But first, what is your take on President Tinubu 1 year in office?
Thank you very much. I think the issue of those who voted and those who opposed and their perspective will be dealt with by the public. Mine, I will be a magician to know what is in everyone's mind and for what reasons, because the why questions are tougher. However, I want to agree with those who say 1 year is not enough to make a judgment, but 1 year is enough to make a projection and to decipher the direction. That direction has been deciphered. It's very clear. President Bola Ahmed has made a statement. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made a statement in 3 definite areas. He has dealt with issues in the economy and issues in security. You might like his policies or might not like it, but you will never be in doubt as to the direction he is going. On the economy, he is demolishing all artificial elements around the way we view our economy. Whether it is the exchange rate that keeps you guessing, or whether it is the removal of petroleum subsidy, which is only consolidating, that leaves you in doubt as to what is the price and what are we up to, or whether it is the consolidation of extensive provision of infrastructure under Buhari, as is clear in some signpost projects that he has done, or whether we are talking about not importing fuel any longer. It is very clear the bold steps that have been taken. I'm not forgetting the purification, the institutional audit going on in the CBN to tidy up our fiscal and financial system. So it is very clear the direction that he wants to proceed. There is a clear time mark for the stoppage of importation of fuel. And for the issue of exchange rate is being dealt with. It goes up, it goes down, but it's real. And the government is intervening on real factors. So if the support remains there and the other tiers of government are mobilized properly, then it is easy to say that in the next 1 year or the next 1.5 years, the full impact of some of the policies that are being developed now will begin to show. And that, of course, includes indigent students being able to access funds to go to school, so as a way of harnessing the educational sector. Let me stop here and fill in as we go.
All right, talking about removal of fuel subsidy and all of that, let us address that particular issue. You would agree with me. Of course, every Nigerian knows when it comes to this particular issue that the president made that policy statement on the 29th of May. And many have argued, sir, that we were actually expecting that he had a laid down plans to ensure that the effect would not be that hard on the people. The removal of fuel subsidy and also the issue of Naira floating. We have seen these things to be parts of his reforms in Nigeria. How would you, or what would you say when it comes to the consequential effects of these reforms on the populace and the economy within this time we are discussing this issue?
I am the example. There's an impact on me. It's harsh. I don't move the way I used to move. I don't feed the way I used to feed. And I'm sure that's also the same for the relatives of the president. However, it is always good to square up with issues. It's analogous to the medical field, where you have to find the diagnosis first, and then you find the treatment. And sometimes, depending on the time that you intervene, the treatment can be painful. When it's painful, the flip side is not to wish it away or to run away from the treatment. You have an issue with your health, You have not addressed it. It has developed to a point when they say there must be surgery. That surgery, however painful, however the dosage of anesthetics must be administered. And there is no shortcut anymore. And so I don't expect that anybody will try to heal the situation we've had without having pains. I do know that a lot of people profess this issue of putting things in place. Putting things in place is a permanent thing, it is forever. You run into issues trying to decide at what point is what you have put in place enough to reduce pain. And you find out it's a continuous thing because it's relative. People always want the best, even abroad. Most politicians will run away from issues of tax because they are very sensitive. The courageous ones would. They will cast the die and succeed or fail along that line. Somebody like Margaret Thatcher in the UK had to enter the issue of labor tax and the labor issues head on, courageously, and rode the controversy. And when she succeeded, she was given the sobriquet of Iron Lady. There are certain steps that President Tinubu has taken that means that he is trying to confront the issues directly. Instead of keep peppering it, keep rubbing powder on it, and it continues to take years. It's debatable. It's possibly the longest debated issue in Nigeria, maybe up to 20 years. Subsidy, removal, refinery, importation of fuel. And when you find those courageous leaders, they say, let's do it once. We either die or we survive with it. We either sink or we swim with it. That's what I see. There must be pain. I have pain here. Everybody listening to me has his own pain. What is important is going ahead. Will the pain continue when there are refineries and more are licensed, when they are in competition, and there are subsidiary industries from the byproducts, which case a petrochemical, you can make tarpaulin, you can make plastics out of the many industries that will be in competition. That is more important.
All right, as you have accepted, of course, every Nigerian out there also would want to put up the experience. I can say mine. I'm behind the microphone. I don't want to come to that yet. The issue of how difficult it's been for Nigerians as we speak. People have said that, okay, you made promises around resuscitating the Nigerian refineries that would have helped in a way to ensure that the issue of fuel subsidy removal is being stamped down. This has not happened. Many are also having fears for the fact that the promises made, the timeline reached, yet nothing happened. That there's a possibility that something would not come up from that light. What's your reaction to that?
Come again with that.
The refineries, they promised, yes, okay, it will start or it will be operational so time, but yet we've not seen it happening yet. What's your reaction to that?
No, there are always alternatives to do anything. You can do it the Thomas way, but you can also do it the Peter way. You can be like Thomas, sit in one place and say, no, I don't understand until I see. But you might as well live where you are, leave your armchair, rush to the grave, look at the swaddling cloths, find out what is inside the grave. That is the way to do it. I don't think that it is right to show pessimism and on every policy without looking at what is on ground. When that's consolidation, I keep talking about consolidation because a lot of people did not understand, and that's what probably I alluded to in my analysis. A lot of people did not understand that President Buhari had already removed subsidy by the framework of the laws that he signed, the Petroleum Industry Act, which outlawed subsidy, and a couple of other steps taken. That what you were hearing from Tinubu was originally a pronouncement. That's why I talk about styles and methods. So when that pronouncement was made by Tinubu on May 29th last year, the private refinery built by Dangote wasn't working. That's being constructed by BUA was not at the stage it was. The issue of turnaround maintenance for Port Harcourt 2 refinery had not advanced to the stage where it is, that emboldens government to say we can stop importation by June, July. I don't care if June, July is exact, but they are giving you dates. If it ends up being in September, it's still fine. What it means that you are not importing for domestic consumption. So you have already saved foreign exchange. It's a ricochet. So that is helping the productive sector. So if we can back it up with our own little efforts, and I'm very emphatic here, the government is a regulator. The government does not tell you that it is more productive it doesn't enforce on you that it is more productive to do farming and agro-based industries than it is to do gambling or speculations with land. The government, nobody needs to emphasize that to anybody. So there is something about attitude too. There are so many who have, since the time of Buhari, there are so many who have taken agriculture seriously, and they are making it.
All right.
So the point I am really making here is when government comes up with this kind of policy, and you are not pessimistic, you can key into it and now see what you can offer as individual or other tiers of government. There's a lot of assistance that we need from governors here. Roughly about 17 states or 16 don't have elected local government chairmen who are accountable to their people. And yet elections come from the federation to those local governments. Those local governments are the nearest to government, nearest to land, and therefore they have a lot to impact in terms of food production, food security, and even the real security itself. But the tendency is to ignore all these tiers of government, the local government system, the state's government, and to blame the man at the top when there is hunger without even knowing how much your state is budgeting for that.
But it is the responsibility of the man at the top to handle these issues of hunger, price hike in terms of commodities at the market, and what have you. You will get back to your point, sir. The FAC has increased, given the removal of fuel subsidy. I believe the report that came out for the month of April indicates that over 1.2 trillion naira, as a matter of fact, was seen, and then billions shared across the state. That's on one side. As we speak, the inflation rate in Nigeria at the moment is around 33.69%, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. In April alone, that was the statistics review. But going back to 2023 in May, we have the records that it was at the rate of 22.41%. Cost of living at the moment is high. Is this not a wrong indication for this current administration?
Is the 22% from National Bureau of Statistics?
That was in May, yes.
I was confronted in a radio station that inflation has risen to 31%, and that was around that same period you are referring to. So there's something about conflicting figures. However, if you are administering a malaria drug, and you know that what you want to treat is malaria, but the first person will have to deal with the side effects of the drug first. It might produce insomnia in some cases. You may not be able to sleep. Some categories of drugs can eat you and all that. Everybody understands that the kind of policies being administered now will first of all trigger some kind of inflation on its own. But then there are mitigation factors which cuts across government and cuts across the people as well. What everybody is aiming, and that should be very clear, is to put less pressure on foreign exchange and our foreign reserves. That's why you find those who are trading in dollars in Nigeria being banished. You find all the things that make us want to go and spend what we have in foreign currency, else we are being trashed down on. By and large, those things that are going up will eventually come down in terms of inflation. But what will sustain it is that our government on all levels are working, mobilizing the people. And that's where I want to come in and tell you, no, it is not the responsibility of the federal government to banish hunger. In case you didn't know, the federal government is a referee on hunger matters because the federal government has no land. The people who are squarely in charge of making you less hungry is the state governments. They are the ones who have land, one of the strongest factors of production. And people don't understand this. If federal government wants anything, it asks state government for land. That's why we're running a federation.
But it is also clear that any decision at the...
When you veer into the issue of security, I would drop the argument.
All right, but it is also possible that issues that have to do with economy, if they are being debated and determined by the national government, it will likely affect other structures too.
Yeah, it will, but there's what you call buffer. There was a time people were accusing Obasanjo of not doing enough or not doing that, but you could pick out Cross River states in that era because they had been given a sovereign. They had elected a governor on who had executive powers. And he came up with some creative project, including the Tinapa. And it stood Cross River out. They came up with Carnival. It stood them out. They invited foreigners. It improved the economy of the state. It became a destination to travel to. So there are people you have elected at state level who should be creative in their own right, except, of course, where policies made by the federal government is hampering them, in which case they have a right to fight it within the law.
All right. We have been listening to you. Gentleman. Yeah, let me call you gentleman anyway. You're trying, and I believe if the president is listening, he will be proud of you. But yeah, we know the state government, state governors, we know them to be one of the issues we are having. I always say that. My name is Incorruptible Sam anyway. And you have talked about the president, his plans, the things he has actually come up with that will help us as a nation. Beautiful. But the biggest of them all is this removal of fuel subsidy. Yes. And because of that, he has actually increased the allocation he gives to states. And so many people are frowning at that because we are not seeing anything coming from it. I'm from Abia State here. We're not seeing anything coming from it. And that's why people have said, why not invest that money into making sure that our refineries will be working? Instead, he has channeled his energy on making sure that Dangote refinery, I love the point you said, a private-owned refinery. And that is what it is. Tomorrow, even if we are going to regulate Dangote refinery, it remains Dangote's refinery. Why not focus or push the energy on making sure that at least 2 of our own refineries will start working so as to make sure that not only fair, we run a private business here, Rapid FM. You don't want to know the amount of diesel we spend monthly. And someone is saying that the president is trying in giving more allocation to the state government. At the end of the day, the people don't see it. I want to believe that the president hasn't done much. Maybe you see otherwise, but he hasn't done much. Why not put the energy on making sure that our refineries will start working? That's the question. But the way
thank you very much.
Yeah.
The president hasn't done much.
He hasn't.
Sounds like a judgment. But I will open this discussion by saying that 1 year is not enough for a judgment, but 1 year is enough for projections. And so let me come back directly to what you had to say. I am in Anambra State at the moment. You are in Abia.
Yes.
We are able to hold this program without coming into physical contact by the efforts of private companies that are regulated. The service providers in telephony. And so the issue of whether a private refinery is working or not is not the core issue. And what is important is the total picture. That is, what is the country's need on petroleum products? That is the demand. What is the supply? If you are able to get from a hybrid of private companies and our owned refineries, and you meet the necessary quantities or even spare some to export, you have hit your objective. It will not then matter whether it is owned by so or so. There are some in some countries, even oil wells, even oil fields are owned by private individuals who then pay tax and royalties to the state. And in the final analysis, what counts is what is produced and how it goes into solving the need of the nation. Don't forget that at least in this is always a hot debate, but in the context of Nigeria, it's been proven that private outfits are usually run to greater efficiency. And when once it is owned by the public, we have not developed an attitude that gives us the same drive and the same efficiency. And this is a truism. So let's take the emphasis away from there into the total picture, right? There are so many ways that government can hit a particular target. They can go this way and they go this way, and whichever the one they choose is their discretion. But what is important is the bottom line.
All right, the issue of okay, yes, Ike.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Ike Obodnaya.
Okay.
Yeah. I would want us to dwell on some very critical issues this morning. At least from your perspective, we've been listening to your analysis. I want you to, in all honesty, tell listeners, what is your opinion about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway? We're talking about 15 trillion. Do you think it is proper, given the fact that we're going through very serious economic hard times in Nigeria? Don't you think that resources would have been channeled to other very critical sectors of the economy? You know, we also have the problem of light, energy. One would have expected Tinubu to walk in that direction. I'm sure, as we are talking right now, I think it's hovering between 3 megawatts or 4 megawatts. I don't even know. Tomorrow they say it's 8 megawatts. But we know that light is an issue in Nigeria. You know, don't you think that Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is a misplacement of a priority? The resources would have been channeled to other critical sectors of the economy. In all honesty, let us know, please. Thank you.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I'm not sure I understand the funding of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. Depending on the mode of funding, it might have nothing to do with real cost in terms of if you don't do this, you do this. So you take the money and you put elsewhere. What if the money for those ones you're talking about are already there? So it's like setting up parallel things. I don't think it's a new project. What is creating controversy is the redesign and rerouting in a way that it affects some structures, particularly when time has elapsed to the point where those structures came up and not having been there since conception. That is what is controversial. Yeah. It is not controversial whether we need that project. You are quarreling with timing, probably. I'm not sure you want to.
I'm quarreling with cost. You're talking about
cost is over 15 trillion naira.
Yeah. It's a whole lot.
The cost is over 15 trillion, yes. And you can pull the resources from outside government on a build and operate and maintain basis. What's your vision? What's the big deal? As long as you get.
Do you think it is the most viable option for us right now when we have other?
No. Let's make it clear. Let's make it clear. It has a budget. I don't know the budgetary section of the budget that takes care of that. Is 15 trillion inside the budget? If they put 15 trillion inside the 2024 budget, it's impossible. There must be facilitation segment for government who will then pull the funds to go on. It's like in your place now, you have a piece of land, you invite people who are lessors to come and lease your land to develop it for 20 years. You don't have the resources to develop them. And it's not hurting you from doing other things that you're supposed to be pursuing. So what the kind of analysis that befits us is when you hear people say, we don't need this project for so reason. It will cause this disadvantage. It will cause this disadvantage. It is not that if the project can be conceived and there are alternative ways of funding it without barging into the cost of funding other things, that you don't need it. That's why I said it is not as if you don't need the project. It's not as if you want to stand 12 hours traveling on something that can take you 4-5 hours with that kind of facility. But the arguments that anybody can put forward is timing. Cost is not such a strong argument if the money is coming from elsewhere and they're taking their profits.
All right, this is Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics. This morning, we are looking at towards a year in office, governance under President Tinubu. There are other issues we would have to give attention to, coming to security, of course, the capacity building under this administration. But that will be after this break. Remember that this is Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Arrive alive. Respect traffic rules. Do not drink and drive. Do not drive and drink. Every life on the road is precious. Drive safely. Be attentive and ensure your journey doesn't become a tragedy.
Stop wa on our roads. Nwanne m onye abịa. Mata na ndụ gị dị ndị abịa mkpa. Kwụsị wa n'okporo ụzọ anyị. Drive safely.
This message is powered by Abia State Orientation Agency.
Ozia, Sinaka Abia State Orientation Agency.
Rapid. Obu Rural Area Program on Investment for Development. Obu atụmatụ ego nkwalite nke ụlọ akụ azụmahịa bụ Bank of Industry BOI. Ewepụtara ya iji nyere ndị nwere obere ụlọ mmepụta ngwaahịa aka nakwa ndị ahịa ha na-abawanye ma otu dị iche iche dị n'ime obodo. Site na Rapid, atụmatụ a na-enyere ọtụtụ ndị dị otu aka inweta ego nkwalite nke nwere ike ịgbasa ruo afọ atọ. Ị nwere ike inweta ego nkwalite buru ibu ruo nde naira 10. Ọmụrụ nwa dị n'elu ya bụ naanị bizeti 5 kwa afọ.
Gịnị bụ usoro eji enweta ego nkwalite a?
Nke mbụ bụ idezu ihe gbasara gị n'ime akwụkwọ a dị na www.rapid.boi.ng. Iwu ka ọ bụ na ị ga-enwerịrị ahịa na-azụ nke debara aha ya nakwa usoro azụmahịa dabara adaba BVN na NIN.
Egbula oge debanye aha ugbu a gaa na www.rapid.boi.ng ka ị nweta akwụkwọ idebanye aha n'usoro ma ọ bụ kpọọ akara ekwentị a 0700-225-5264 maka ozi a na ajụjụ ndị ọzọ. Iwu na usoro dịkwa ya o. Idebanye aha ga-akwụsị n'abalị 29 nke ọnwa Mee afọ abụ 2024. Ụlọ akụ Bank of Industry na-akwalite azụmahịa nke ala Nigeria.
Beauty is power. A smile is its sword. Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is all around us. So, if you want to look good always, visit Masters and Wands Cosmetics stores. It's new, it's exclusive, and the happening store in beauty products. We deal on perfumes and cosmetics such as body lotions, facial creams and scrubs, body sprays, powders, bath wash, and all kinds of quality cosmetics with affordable prices. Contact us at number 41 Fimbers Road, Umuahia, or number 28 School Road, Umuahia, all in Abia State. Call us on 0806 951 2773 or email us at wandsgleam@gmail.com. Masters and Wands Cosmetics stores. Quality is our name. Signed, management.
Rapid 96.5 FM Starrise Eviction is here.
We are grateful to the following:
Honorable Anderson Akaliro, member representing Umuahia North State Constituency.
Gawai's Logistics Company Limited, number 2 Ojike Street off Bende Road, Umuahia, Abia State.
Ellis Wares, number 28 Azikiwe Road by School Road, Umuahia, Abia State. Elix, Friends of Your Wardrobe.
Onyem's Pharmacy, 21 Azikiwe Road by School Road, Umuahia. We care, God heals.
Luwani Mondo, number 27 Azikiwe Road, Umuahia, Abia State.
Rapid Starrise. More supporters wanted.
Come on, y'all, let's do it.
It's time to crank it up. We are turning it up on Rapid FM 96.5, the sound of your city.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It's a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. So this is beyond partisan politics. Nigeria is on drip. Nigeria is on oxygen. And how can we get out of this? And these are kind of people who say they are leaders of this country. What example are they showing as leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with happenings in the politics.
I am an employee of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of the family. And he must protect me.
All the resources available in this country has to come together at this time to see how best we can move forward. The interest of Nigeria is part of it.
Standpoint.
Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM.
No Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. That's right.
You're welcome back to the program Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics. We are live on the Facebook and YouTube. That's at Rapid 96.5 FM. We've been speaking this morning, looking at towards a year in office, governance under President Tinubu with the State Publicity Secretary, All Progressives Congress, Anambra State, Okelo Madukefe. So you're welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, a quick one before we round off this session with you. Let us talk about security. Let's have your reaction to the state of security under President Tinubu. Given what has happened, we can mention in terms of figures and numbers, the Kaduna incident, that of Sokoto and other regions, not central. We can see killings and all of that. Your reaction to this, and also the way forward after 1 year in office.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a lot of improvement on security. The Middle Belt issue is 25 years old, if not more, because the foundation was clearly laid in the processes that led to the amalgamation of Nigeria. And
when you say there's a lot of improvement, we have kidnapping cases, killings, and all of that. Please, you carry out clarity specifically in this angle, sir.
I don't want to spoil your happiness when I say there will always be crimes. There will always be security issues. I'm not talking about Nigeria. I'm talking about anywhere in the world. Otherwise, you would dissolve all the police forces. There will always be. Whenever we discuss security, we talk about something systemic. Ones that threaten national interest. The one that threaten the life and property of the greater number of people. We can only reduce it. So that's why I say that there is improvement. You cannot compare the regular sporadic attacks of yesteryears with what you have seen recently, which shows that there's a grip. There will always be isolated incidents, particularly what those who are experts in the field call soft targets. Will stealing ever stop? Will murder or assassination or whatever ever stop? These isolated incidents will always remain there until...
You are saying in effect that banditry will not stop?
I never mentioned banditry.
But that's part of it now. That's part of it.
Banditry is systemic. Banditry is systemic. It has to stop. Or it will be reduced to the barest minimum.
All right.
But those isolated cases, the people get vengeance. If you really want to go into it and do a proper study, you would find out that it has both immediate and remote, and there are so many perspectives. Delay in justice system. You feel aggrieved. You want to seek redress. It takes too long. So people resort to all sorts, and they are all part of security problems we have. There is the food security angle, which we discussed tangentially. People need to rise to their responsibility. States need to develop their economy and compete, not pointing our fingers at the center. And so when people feed well, you would then do a first-line reduction in security issues.
All right, in 50 seconds, sir, the way forward after 1 year, because these are the angles now people will be giving interest to. The government has served 1 year, and then what happens in the next 3 years? So let us have your reaction to that.
Okay, if you have started well, in the next 3 years, I expect a lot to have happened. I expect that someone like myself might be moving in the direction of the oil industry to go and have interest in the subsidiary industries there. That's my optimism. And I expect that we would have a stable currency that has gained value with production. And I expect that the word from CBN will be solid and a good policy to rely on without somersaults. What with the National Assembly tinkering with legislation to stop CBN government or governors and directors from seeking political office for a certain number of years after office. So the future is bright.
All right. What about the angle of inflation and also cost of food commodities and all of that? Just a few seconds, please.
Inflation remains too much money facing too little goods. So when you increase the production, invariably, you would drop the inflation.
All right.
To look at it from.
State Publicity Secretary, APC Anambra State, Okelo Madukefe. Thank you so much for your time on Standpoint this morning.
The pleasure is mine, sir. Have a night.
All right, thank you. We appreciate that. That's on one side. Well, you are down there who has been living, seeing things happening at the down level, being at the receiving end. We'll get your reaction also once we open our phone lines this morning. Remember that it's towards a year in office, governance under President Tinubu. That's what we are looking at this morning on Standpoint. So we'll get your reactions on 09160 0000965 or 09160 333 965. We are live on Facebook and YouTube to get your own opinion on these issues we have been discussing this morning on Standpoint. But Ike, incorruptible Sam, you listen to him. We'll get back to our phone lines. Joining us also this morning is the constitutional lawyer, Barrister Nwabweze Ugu. A very good morning to you, sir, and thank you for joining Standpoint.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, our listeners.
All right. Looking at towards a year in office, governance under President Tinubu, let us have your perspective on the issues that have taken place under this current administration.
You know that in life, what is very important is the ability of one to stay alive. So the best way to assess any government in the world is from that prism of the ability of people to stay alive, how long they stay on earth, and within the period they're on earth, how comfortable are they? You'll agree with me that the most important thing for now in this country is this issue that I've spoken about. How well are people faring? You see, from Tinubu has been in government for almost a year now, and the beginning of the assessment is to assess the investments that have come into Nigeria since it began, then the employment that has been created since it started, then the number of employments that have been lost since it started. You look at the percentage of the employment created, the percentage of the employment lost. You look at the standard of living. You look at the cost of living, because you know that the standard of living has an inverse relationship with the cost of living. You will agree with me certainly that the cost of living has gone so high that the standard of living has totally reduced, completely reduced. That's why you now have more deaths. You now have problem everywhere. You saw the number of towns in the north where people demonstrated in the recent past. What they were demonstrating was hardship. They were demonstrating as out of anger as a result of hardship, as a result of their inability to continue trudging on. And when you now look at the rest of the things that are going on in Nigeria, there is no doubt that if the government means well, they need to get back to the drawing board. And if you also look at the issue of poverty, the issue of corruption, yes. the issue of corruption, which has instead of reducing, I think it may not be incorrect to say that the thing has continued to increase. The other day, one of the junior lawyers in my office told me that the police have become transactional. If you now want to make a report at the police station, they will first ask you, how much are you going to pay? Now, remember again that in the very recent past, Amnesty International did say that the three most corrupt institutions in Nigeria are: 1, the police; 2, the legislature; 3, the judiciary. And incidentally, most regrettably, these three institutions are the institutions that you need in order to curb corruption anywhere in the world. If these three institutions that ought to curb corruption have become vehicles of corruption themselves, then it means that the country is finished. And also look at the issue of security, because you can't think of investment if there is no security. It's impossible for any man in his right senses to expect a foreigner to enter Nigeria and invest his hard-earned money.
All right, Barrister. Yes, Barrister, a very quick one. Given the laid down facts so far from you this morning, do you think that this government would take a different position in delivering governance to Nigeria even after 1 year?
I cannot see any change in the foreseeable future. Because why would there be change when the policy is not going to change? Why will there be change when the people that are dishing out the policies remain the same person? When their idea of governance remain the same? When it's impossible, because indices are not there. For there to be a change, something ought to have taken place. Either that some of the persons, the key persons have been changed, or that the policy has changed.
All right.
Nothing
of
such has taken place.
A constitutional lawyer, Barrister Nwabweze, thank you so much for your time on Standpoint today.
Thank you, our listeners. Thank you, my brother.
All right, 09160000965. You're welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ben.
Your name and location, please be audible.
Mr. Chichoke from Benton Road. I just want to go straight to the point. For me personally, I would say that in Nigeria, as we talk about 1 year in office by Mr. President, I would say that there's nothing to celebrate.
All right.
Instead of celebration, what we are seeing is hunger everywhere, serious problems. People are dying anyhow without Mr. President trying to do by addressing the issue.
All right, Chijoke, I got your point, but your audio output is not really friendly this morning. However, I got your point. You're welcome to Standpoint. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You're welcome. Your name and location, please.
Yeah, this is Mr. Edson in Kano. The voice from my hotel government area, the home hospitality.
All right, is it?
My brother of the truth, a few days down, our leaders will be celebrating 1 year in office. But I don't know what our president, Tinubu, I don't know what he's going to celebrate. He has been making promises, all these were promises. As of last year, December, he said before December, Port Harcourt refinery will start working. Till date, none of our refineries is functional. He's almost said, that's almost said, 1 year in office, none of the refineries working. In a country that has an enormous quantity of fuel, crude oil, if you visit many of our filling stations today, you discover they don't have fuel. We are suffering from scarcity of petroleum. We are suffering from a high price of fuel.
All right, round of your thoughts,
in a
please.
country that God has already blessed. So what is he going to lay hand on? What is he going to tell others what he has achieved so far?
All right.
Unlike what is happening in the state here, our governor has been doing well. We commend him. You can see how he has been touching all
Make
the
up your point. Your time is up
and
already.
with the steps he has been taking, then you know that there is hope for better improvement.
All right, then.
So
Thank you so much for your time. You're welcome to Standpoint. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and location, please. Hello, good morning.
Ikechiku calling from Umaya.
Ikechiku, you're welcome.
Yeah. These guys, I think this 1 year, they messed it up.
Okay.
Government is practical. It's budget. They should look how much they have injected in the 1 year. That's how you reach government and how much you want to realize. You see that, like in some states now, they will inject over 600 billion. In the next 2026, they will go and borrow. It's failure. Tell a businessman that is doing business, after injecting 600 billion naira in your company, in the next year, instead of it accounting profit, you go and borrow. That means accounting deficit. There's loopholes. There's corrupt fraudulent. What is the evidence of that 20? They're not telling the truth.
All right.
What is evidence of that trillions of budget you are running in?
Oh, that was unfortunate. You're welcome to Standpoint. Good morning.
Ben Mosi, man blessed.
Welcome.
You're highly blessed. Don't get it, guy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, God bless you. See, so much applaud your guest, which is the best has spoken well, because we're looking at the people who are questioning the policy, those solicitors. What is their level of their play? How have they been, attending to matters? So just like you mentioned of, we have legislators, just like police, judiciary, and legislative. So those are the people who are supposed to, if we are trying to fight this corruption, to bring it to the zero level. I think they are the people to step up. Then that is a part. We are talking about assessment. This is time for assessment. I think, my brother, for the fact that the president of this day, they didn't even cut down the governance. But that's what we are hammering before they now came on board. So for the starting from there, then again, for them not having the listening ear, this will be the remove subsidy. And people have been complaining, people have been experiencing hardship, then they refuse to attend to that plight of the people. So I don't see any reason why I should qualify them after within this 1 year.
All right,
so for them,
don't kiss it.
After remaining 3 years coming, I don't see them they're going to do anything that is going to, turn around the table.
All right,
but
thank
for
you.
now, they don't have anything to.
Thank you for your perspective. Very good morning to you and welcome to Standpoint.
Good morning, Moses Ben.
Your name and location, please.
Who say man know this the name I'm calling from? Good morning, Mr. Ike.
Please use 30 seconds.
Yeah, welcome.
Good morning.
Okay. I believe that the guest of Mr. President APC has spoken was he just did his work. He's doing his work. But when it comes to the reality on ground, like Sam said, that money, that subsidy money, the president are supposed to be considerate enough to consider the negative effect of a subsidy removal on the plight of the people that voted him in. In peradventure that all of us voted for him, he should have removed that money and used it to fix refineries instead of adding it to governors their policies. A governor that was receiving like 4 billion naira now received 12-15 billion.
All right,
why the masses that voted him in are suffering? So Abia State people will talk about give Abia State as a reference. Have you done things differently? The double taxation that is happening in federal government, is it not happening in the state today?
All right,
so the federal government...
Let's leave it at that for today. We'll continue with that discussion tomorrow. Thank you so much. That's been our show this morning, gentlemen. We spoke with our guest earlier on virtually. Aiko Bonaya, Incorruptible Sam. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Next time, that guy should come live. I have a lot for him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was just...
All right, the news is up next at 10 o'clock. Good morning.
Trending stories, breaking news, fast.